The spirit of a fox falls in love with a young man and it will do everything possible to win him over. While Koda Oyamada is on his way to school, he meets Chizuru Minamoto, who hugs him effusively in the middle of the street, which embarrasses him due to the pressure with which the girl was hugging him and the fact that other people can see what was happening. For some reason, is like it will encourage more the young girl to hug him without paying attention to what other people say. Akane Sehuna, Koda's class delegate, tries to interfere, but she can't fight Chizuru's persistence even though Akane blames it on him. The rest of the classmates show up and they are surprised that someone who seems to be as shy as Koda would be so direct with Chizuru. At school, Akane tells Koda that if he doesn't like being harassed by Chizuru, he should tell her directly, while the rest of the class wonders if someone as beautiful as the young girl follows Koda around so much, but unfortunately no one knows, not even our protagonist. In the halls of the school, Chizuru realizes that Koda is too shy, so she should change her strategy to be with him. While thinking what to do, Chizuru crosses a teacher who calls her a delinquent and asks her if she is still after Koda, so she gets mad and then she leaves. And already in another classroom of the school, a group of students is offended by the actions of Chizuru, but their leader orders them that they must wait to see what happens, so they leave the classroom angry. Later, during the lunch chaos, Koda doesn't get any food, but Teiyura, which is Chizuru's brother, invites him some of his flavored bread. Then Chizuru appears and turns the situation into something awkward until a gust of wind sneaks through the hall, attracting the attention of the students and distracting Teiyura, who is looking for some students. Once his brother leaves, Chizuru gives Koda a love letter in which she asks him to go to the music room, and once they are in the music room, Chizuru confesses her love to Koda and she gives him a kiss on the mouth. The first kiss of our boy. When an embarrassed Koda opens his eyes, he is shocked to realize that the girl standing in front of him is different from the Chizuru he knows, because Chizuru now has bright blonde hair and fox ears and tail, thus revealing to him that she is actually a Kitsune, a fox spirit. She tries to convince him that she is just a cosplay, but she finally admits the truth. Chizuru becomes sad as her friend is afraid of her now, so she must run away from school to keep her secret, but he tells her that he doesn't care about it because she is beautiful anyway, which she understands as permission to be able to hug him. However, Teiyura, Chizuru's little brother, soon interferes and he tries to tell her that their friendship is dangerous, to which the girl says that she has everything under control and that she loves the human. Then she proves that by giving him a kiss and disappearing inside him, leaving only her clothes lying on the floor. Chizuru possesses Koda for a while, and she conjures a huge flame that blows outside, leaving a huge hole in the school building and proving that being inside him beloved is stronger than ever, and she won't let anyone separate them. Chizuru returns to normal and declares her love to Koda, whose life from now on will change forever. On the other hand, two mysterious young men arrive in town by motorcycle, and the first thing they notice is a familiar scent mixed with the wind. The two young men say goodbye for now, and the younger girl heads to our protagonist's school. Likewise, now that she has nothing to hide from her beloved, Chizuru is more unbearable than ever, and she is not interested in hiding her affection, despite the fact that they are in the middle of the street, which does bother Koda, and that is why he runs away from Chizuru. Koda crosses paths with a girl of his age who is eating at a passing restaurant. The young woman devours the food without paying any attention to the vendor who was asking her to pay for it. Our hero intuits that she is a spirit like Chizuru and he offers to pay for her meal, but then he sees that he does not have enough money, but the quiet young woman pays for her own food without problems, and she introduces herself as Nozomu and she thanks Koda by feeding him. She also takes the opportunity to sniff him a little, promising that she will remember his scent. That night, Koda sleeps while thinking about this new world of spirits and magics while someone spies on him. Already the next day, Koda wakes up discovering that Chizuru has entered his room and she has slept next to him, which bothers him, and he asks her to return the key to the rooms. The young woman again goes to the street, but at his request she generates a sealed force field that allows them to be alone without anyone bothering them in the middle of the street. However, Nozomu appears walking smoothly and then she pays attention to them, and as if nothing she destroys the sealed field, leaving our protagonists exposed. Koda is embarrassed, but Chizuru doesn't give a damn about it, although she is curious about Nozomu's presence and how our protagonist knows her. That same morning, Nozomu appears in Koda's class and she throws herself on him to the chagrin of Chizuru, who also throws herself on the young man in front of all the classmates. Quite a heartthrob, our protagonist. This one introduces herself as a transfer student from Hokkaido named Nozomu Ezamori, who sits next to our protagonist. And already in the teacher's lounge, Chizuru is tied up in a chair trying to escape to fight with the new student for her boy's love, but her teacher tells her that it's for her own good. She is explaining to her that Nozomu is no ordinary person, but she belongs to a powerful wolf clan. This information alerts Chizuru, who flees in search of her beloved, and she confronts Nozomu, telling her that Koda is hers but the she-wolf has decided that she wants him for herself. Nozomu keeps getting in the way of Chizuru's plans to get closer to Koda because of her own desires. In short, the two girls are going to fight for the love of our protagonist. That morning, Koda wakes up and again he discovers Chizuru in his room, as this time the fox spirit has decided to honor him with breakfast. Knowing that he doesn't have too many options and that breakfast is already ready, Koda tastes the food only to discover she has confused salt with sugar and all the food is sweeter than it should be. On the way, Chizuru apologizes for the confusion, but Koda noticed the burns on the young girl's fingers, product of her little experience in the kitchen. He tells her that the breakfast was tasty, cheering her up. The two of them walk happily, but Koda accidentally bumps into Nozomu, which makes the vixen jealous because she knows that it was no accident. At school, Nozomu's attitudes annoy Chizuru, who becomes furious with her brother when he tells her that he gave the she-wolf one of his girly magazines for her to learn a few tricks. Furious, Chizuru throws a desk at her brother, sending him to the infirmary. Somewhere, a group of students are keeping a close eye on Chizuru and Nozomu's recent activities. Koda is the prize in a battlefield fought with food between Chizuru and Nozomu, but neither of them know how to cook very well, and Koda is the one who suffers as he is forced to eat terrible food experiments made by the two girls. At the teacher's office, the headmaster warns the two girls that they must calm down, and if they continue causing trouble there will be more drastic consequences. While the girls are being reprimanded, the group of students enters the classroom and Kumada, their leader, reminds them of the rules of the spirits that say they should not engage in relationships with humans, and although he makes it clear that he has no problems with it, there could be other spirits in the school that won't like it. The eating contest continues and each meal is worse than the last one, to the point of sending our hero to the infirmary. Later, Chizuru and Koda are attacked by Omi Kiriyama, a sickle weasel spirit who is against the relationship between the two of them, but Koda is hit by Chizuru and he is knocked unconscious, to Kiriyama's surprise and horror, because it is strictly forbidden to attack humans. Feeling guilty, Kiriyama tries to help Koda by having Mio Asakeba, frog spirit, make toad oil despite being a frog spirit, and Chizuru can't help but stand by Koda's side simply to use the oil. But Nozomu joins in and Koda panics again. Back at school, a fight breaks out between Chizuru and Nozomu, Koda following the advice of her friend Akane to say things directly. He yells at Chizuru, reprimanding her, which causes her to cry and run away. Koda, feeling guilty, runs out after her and he soon discovers that Chizuru was faking it and she just wanted to spend some time alone with Koda in a very playful way. The days continue as usual, if usual means that Chizuru and Nozomu use every opportunity they get to harass Koda. Tired of fighting for Koda's love and ready to defeat her enemy Nozomu, Chizuru convinces her brother to break into a forbidden supply room full of sealed items around the school, and he steals a cursed bunny costume. During class, Chizuru appears crying in front of Koda because for some reason she can't take off the bunny suit, which is drawing a lot of attention to her classmates, and even though that worries her, she does like that Koda likes it. In the professor's room, Chizuru and his brother are reprimanded for entering the supply room, and the professor explains that the suit has a curse because it contains the soul of a spider demon that feeds on the life of the wearer. The professor promises them to see how to help our protagonist, but he tells her that she must hold on until they investigate very well, so meanwhile she must use the scandalous suit. Chizuru wanted to wear a suit as she only hoped to attract the attention of her beloved, but now everyone at school is watching her, and that makes her uncomfortable, especially when no one explains the reason for the suit and they start with their own theories. That night, Chizuru decides to stay at Koda's house since she doesn't want to draw people's attention on her way to her own house, and by the way take the opportunity to be with him. However, her plan doesn't go as planned since Nozomu joins the sleepover, as well as Taira and Akane and the rest of her friends who don't trust Koda to stay alone with Chizuru, although in reality it should be the other way around. The next day, while going to school, Chizuru faints as the suit demon is feeding on her life energy. In the school infirmary, Akane takes the logical path and decides that if Chizuru is not able to take off the suit, the best thing to do is to cut it off, and that's it. So she takes scissors and she prepares to open the suit. However, the demon fights back by transforming Akane's clothes into a sexy nurse outfit, and so on with the rest of the clothes of all the female students in the school. The suit then changes the clothes of all the students into cliché cosplay costumes and tries to kill Chizuru, but she and Koda combine each other, freeing Chizuru from the evil suit and destroying it once and for all. The next day, everything is back to normal and Chizuru jokes that the only good thing about it was that she was able to sleep over at his house, and she wonders if she should get another suit. Meanwhile, Nozomu's young companion rides back to town on his motorcycle. While Chizuru again harasses Koda in the privacy of a magic shield on the rooftop of the school, Koda notices that the shield has been destroyed by a very powerful spirit. The spirit is revealed to be Saku Ezamori, the wolf spirit, Nozomu's older brother and someone who shares a past with Chizuru as he seems to know her. In the school canteen, Saku tells our heroes that he comes to visit his sister and he shows interest in Chizuru, whom he hasn't seen for a long time, and now he finds that she has grown up enough to get his attention. However, Chizuru only has eyes for Koda, embarrassing him again. Saku realizes that such a display of affection can be problematic, so he decides to give our protagonist a gift. Saku puts something on Koda's wrist that inflicts high amounts of pain if he gets horny, which is what we've been paying attention the all day, so Chizuru is worried that if she tries her normal flirtatious behavior it could end up killing him. Saku confesses that his motivation is jealousy, as he is attracted to Chizuru and does not like to see her so affectionate with another guy, as well as declaring his love, which she rejects. Chizuru contains her feelings for a couple of days, but with great self-control, to the point that she begins to have withdrawal symptoms and she becomes violent with her brother, who tries to help her. At her sister Teyura's request, she tries to plan a way to free Koda from the curse, and she asks for help from her fellow spirits in the study group, and they agree with it. While Chizuru is being tied up in a classroom at the school so that she won't go after Koda, Teyura and Kiriyama try to negotiate with Nozomu's brother to violently remove his bracelet. But everything goes wrong when they discover that it is really powerful, and even together they are not able to cause it any harm. Chizuru fights against it, but even using all her power she is defeated by the powerful wolf. At the school, Nozomu hears his brother's howl of victory and tells Koda that Chizuru is in danger. Koda arrives at the battle site and he discovers all his friends defeated, and he hugs Chizuru. Saku goes to get Koda and Chizuru tells him to run away, and Nozomu stands in his brother's way. Koda and Chizuru combine each other and they use their enormous power to defeat Nozomu's brother in one attack. Saku keeps his word and he removes the bracelet from Koda's wrist, freeing him from the curse. The wolf leaves and he asks her sister what she wants to do, and she replies that she wants to stay by Koda's side, so they say goodbye to each other on friendly terms until next time. However, on the way, Saku stops to talk to two mysterious women, warning them that she will not do what she did again, and that he recognizes that the power they speak of is for real. The new year arrives, and while Koda enjoys a quiet period at home alone, apparently his only relative is a grandfather who lives somewhere else. Chizuru invites herself and tries to warm up the atmosphere by distracting him while he is writing, and she is presenting herself with something very curious and novel to the protagonist. While they get organized to go to the New Year's Eve party, Teyura tries to gather courage to invite Akane to the festival, but he doesn't do it. At Koda's house, our heroes play a love dice game in which the players do spicy things to each other. Koda has no choice but to play, but then he realizes that the game is rigged and all the dice play in Chizuru's favor. Nozomu shows up at the end and gets in Chizuru's way, and Koda suggests they go participate in Hatsumoku. At the shrine, they meet Chizuru's brother and other friends from school. They all have fun and they make wishes for the beginning of the year, wishing the girls for the love of Koda. Teyura also gets his luck, as he turns out to be not too promising when it comes to women, but he becomes very happy when he happens to meet Akane at the festival. Akane, who doesn't know Teyura's feelings for her, makes him promise that next school year he should take care of her, as he is her senior, and he promises it. At the end of the day at the shrine, humans and spirits all return to Koda's house to continue celebrating. Winter is coming, and with it the snow. On the way to school, our protagonists cross paths with a mysterious young woman dressed as a ninja, and Chizuru seems to know her. In class, Koda wonders who this young woman is, when Nozomu enters and she feels the scent of another spirit. In the schoolyard, Chizuru converses with a young ninja girl named Yukahana, a Yujina from Chizuru's family. Yukahana has heard about the relationship between Chizuru and a human, and she disagrees with her, but Chizuru replies that this case is not like the others and the two of them are destined to be together, but Yukahana is not too convinced about it. In the classroom, Teyura hears Koda describing the mysterious woman, and recognizing her, he warns them all that they will be in danger. Indeed, Yukahana has decided to test the bond between Chizuru and Koda by creating a powerful snowstorm around the school, and leaving everyone trapped in it. Some of the spirit students suffer in cold, as many are hibernating animal spirits like bears and frogs, so they immediately go to sleep. While the students try to keep warm, Koda, Chizuru, Nozomu, and Teyura try to find Yukahana. The ninja, on the other hand, uses her powers to summon an army of snowmen. After a fight, where Teyura again proves his uselessness, the snowmen take Chizuru's brother and the others flee to a nearby classroom where Chizuru and Nozomu use their bodies to warm up Koda, which is exactly what it sounds like, and that's why we can't show it. The other students try to deal with the cold in their own way, sharing food and creating cold shelters. Yukahana finally appears, and as Chizuru and Koda try to run away, Yukahana stops them and she traps Nozomu in a snowball. As our heroes run around the schoolyard, Koda's body is unable to withstand in the cold temperatures, so he collapses. Yukahana mocks the frail human, but Chizuru kisses him, merging with her beloved. Chizuru and Koda combine each other, showing how strong their bond is, and so Yukahana stops the snowstorm and informs them that her mission was not to attack them. Chizuru's mother wants her to take up the cause in her hometown. Koda, Chizuru, Nozomu, Taira and some classmates visit a spa run by Tamamo, Chizuru's mother. Tamamo welcomes them very warmly, especially Koda, whom she is very interested in getting to know him more. Apply. In this series is either something to worry about or be very happy about. There are no half measures here. During a super objectionable sequence involving washed backs, it is revealed that Chizuru's mother is none other than the fox deity Tamamo Nami, the fox with 9 tails. The two women argue and Chizuru asks her mother not to seduce her beloved, but Tamamo replies that they will see if it is their destiny to be together or not. During dinner, Chizuru seems to be missing in action, which is part of her mother's plan, who has locked her in a barrel. Tamamo decides to test the bond between them by using a special drink that makes two people fall in love with each other. Unfortunately, this happens between Koda and Nozomu. Chizuru arrives too late and Gouda has already drank the drink, and he falls in love with Nozomu, and his mother explains to him that there is nothing he can do but just wait for the drink to wear off. Taira finds out about the power of the drink and tries to make Akane fall in love with him, but she instead falls in love with the bottle. So we have two jokes: the man who wants to make a girl drink a drink to win her over without her knowing, and the girl with a drinking problem. While the hormones do their thing, Tamamo talks to two customers of the inn who turn out to be the two women Saku was talking to, and she apologizes to them for the problems, but they tell her there is nothing to apologize for. The night goes on with Koda and Nozomu in love, trying to have a moment alone without Chizuru coming between them or trying to seduce our protagonist. And the young vixen spirit spends the whole night getting between the two lovers. In the end, Koda recovers and he manages to reconcile with Chizuru. When the group returns to the city, Tamamo trusts in Chizuru and Koda. As they leave, Yukahana asks Tamamo if Koda has passed the test, and the woman replies that she can't believe the young man has overcome the power of the 9 tails cocktail. The girl and the mysterious woman spy on Koda's house, where the young man and Chizuru are fooling around, and they don't seem to approve the relationship. It gets more complicated when the girl refers to Koda as her older brother. In the countryside, the twins Ai and Ren, schoolmates of our heroes, fight a creature in the form of a centipede, revealing that they are spirit hunters. The creature is about to escape, but the woman knew. The girl's bodyguard electrocutes the monster, annihilating it. The twins' teacher implies that the girl Minori Mitama and her spirit bodyguard need the services of the monster hunters to seal the spirit of a dangerous spirit that is terrorizing their school. Minori reveals that the spirit is her classmate Chizuru, and she offers them a lot of money to seal her powers. The girls accept when Minori offers them a mountain of money, because beyond the heroism and the feeling of doing something good, demon hunting does not give much money, and the girls are very poor. The next day, the twins try to destroy Chizuru using a bomb worthy of a cartoon, but our heroine senses the danger, and she escapes, so the bomb only affects the twins. Later, the twins conclude that the bomb was a piece of crap. They look for a way to seal Chizuru's powers. The twins come up with a plan, and at lunchtime they give her a drug to only discover that it makes Chizuru's breasts disappear. Shocked by her loss, Chizuru desperately tries to find a cure to get rid of this. Koda admits that the relationship is not the same with that big change, so our heroine tries desperate measures and gets help from Koda, Nozomu, and Taira. During the brainstorming session, Chizuru is so desperate that she doesn't reject anything, so she sends her brother on a trip around the world in search of miracle cures, while Koda and Nozomu stay at school doing exercises and massages, while the twins continue to use their useless bombs to fail miserably. Meanwhile, somewhere Minori prepares to snatch Koda from Chizuru, and she declares war on the entire school by summoning a legion of monsters to achieve that goal. As Minori prepares for war, our heroes, who have no idea what is going, they are focused on the most important problem, Chizuru's breasts. The twins continue to bother each other as Taira comes back from his trip around the world. He was navigating countless dangers only to be reprimanded by Akane for missing 3 days of school. In class, Taira hands her sister all the elixirs and miracle cures he found on his travels, but she doesn't seem too impressed and she ignores him. The group prepares the elixirs, but none of them have any effect. The twins, who have been closely spying on Chizuru and company, wonder if they are really as bad as everyone say. Chizuru decides to go to lunch to clear her head, and she invites her friends to a family restaurant. Nozomu smells the presence of the twins, and Chizuru invites Ai and Ren to eat. At the place, the twins, who had never entered a good restaurant before, they are surprised by the place, because of the good food, and that their friend invites them out of the goodness of her heart. As the two of them are poor, this has magnanimous effects on them, and they regret the whole potion situation. The next day, Minori summons some demons to attack the school. The school is protected by a powerful seal that obviously won't hold much, so the spirit students prepare to fight, while a magical snow causes the human students to fall asleep on the spot. The adults are powerful enough to defeat most of the demons, but they are no match for the power of Nu, who defeats everyone in her path. Nu enters and takes down Nozomu, who despite her power is no match for the bird woman. Then Nu chases Koda and Chizuru into one of the classrooms, and once they are there, it looks like she has no choice but fight. Chizuru fights the woman, but without powers is unable to do anything against her. When Koda is cornered, he refuses to let Chizuru die, and he discovers his fox powers. Koda possesses Chizuru and turns into a five-tailed black fox. He defeats Nu and Minori, so the two of them flee away, but the girl vows to make Koda hers someday. Then his spiritual powers are restored. Chizuru, Koda, Taira, Nozomu and their friends go to a beach known only to spirits. After some trouble changing their clothes and an attempt at sunbathing, they discover a nearby beach house called Tamanoya, which is run by none other than Tamamo and Yukahana, Chizuru's mother, who has decided to become a disruptive force in her daughter's life. She feeds the group but gives priority to Koda, serving him a bowl of seafood ramen that she insists the young man to eat. It seems like Tamamo again is trying to gain Koda's effect, so Chizuru has a fit of rage, but she is calmed down when Tamamo tells Koda to feed her as well. Back at the beach, the group has fun by making a barbecue and playing with fireworks, but Chizuru is upset because she can't be alone with Koda, as Nozomu won't leave him alone for a second. Then Chizuru meets her mother and she asks her how are things going, and she also asks her to stop interfering between the two of them. When Chizuru returns to the beach, she discovers that Akane has gotten into trouble when she wanders too far from the shore at risk of drowning. Koda tries to go to the rescue, but he does not dare since he does not know how to swim, so without hesitation Taira goes to the rescue of his companion. When Akane wakes up, the group informs her that her savior is none other than Taira, so the young girl thanks him and she is more friendly with him, inviting him to eat with her at the night campfire. In the evening, the group has dinner, but Chizuru is still frustrated because she cannot spend time alone with her beloved while the rest of the group plays with fireworks. Chizuru asks Koda to have a walk with her on the beach under the stars, and she finally asks him how he feels about her. Time goes by and it is time to go back to school. While Koda and Chizuru are walking, he tells her that someday she should meet his grandfather, which she takes as an invitation, so he quickly clarifies that it is not. She asks him why not if he knew her family, but Koda replies that he still does not feel ready to take that next step. Chizuru wants Koda to tell her that he loves her, and that is the second question she asked him that day on the beach, but he is very hesitant. Chizuru tries various methods to get him to tell her that, but she gets frustrated. Taira asks Kane on a date and she accepts, but she says that she wants to go to an art gallery instead of going to an amusement park. Chizuru remembers that on the beach when Koda did not get to answer her question since his friends just arrived, so she decides that the only way for him to answer it is if they are alone, so she tries to have a date alone with him, but she fails again and again. Finally, the young woman decides to leave her subtlety aside and she throws herself on Koda, scaring the young man a little, but he does not know how to respond because it hurts her, so she leaves crying. Koda decides he loves Chizuru when he sees her crying in a rain day on the bridge where they met each other under a rain with the sun, which is normally known as a fox marriage. Koda and Tsuru become lovers, and Nozomu bursts by saying that she accepts their relationship and she will be Koda's lover. Chizuru accepts. That is how this series ends, and we are left with several mysteries to solve. What is Minori planning? Why is Koda so special? And will someone teach Chizuru that sometimes no means no?